Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Always interpret the message as it best resonates. Also, know on this channel, I like to dive deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play out as karmic themes. This will allow you to see why everything's playing out the way that it is. All right, and why you're attracting who you're attracting and what you could possibly do to shape shift the energy. There's a lot of actually reasons why we want to look at the shadows, because a lot of times when we're with somebody that has a lot of spiritual blocks, they trigger us and we don't want to actually be around them. Then we actually begin to hold on to a cognitive dissonance, which is, I want this person, but I don't. And that actually changes the energy in what the universe hears, right? Because you can manifest your person back. You can actually manifest anything that you want. Now, you can't make a person fall in love with you, but if the person already has feelings for you and you're holding on to this cognitive dissonance, which again is I want it, but I don't, well, the universe doesn't give you anything because you have to be open to receive it. The problem is that when you're dealing with someone that has shadows, you're like, you get angry. You get angry. And you get angry because you're like, why did you treat me this way? But the truth of the matter is, a lot of times the person's treating you the way that they are has absolutely nothing to do with you. They have formed psychological reversals in their mind, and that's where a person gets in their own way. They sabotage themselves. So I'm kind of feeling like, and I don't know why, but you're like, this person was supposed to come back. You always felt like you're in separation from someone and you always felt like they were going to come back. And I feel like they were. But what's happened is that you're holding on to this energy. So you kind of want them to come back, but I feel like you want them to come back to yell at them almost and for them to fix whatever their issue was. And this person, the more that they can feel this energy, I feel like it's getting overstimulated. And I don't know why I'm feeling this or why, because if you watch my channel, I don't just ramble. I don't just, well, I might just ramble, but I never just ramble in the beginning of the video. So again, we're going to see what's going on. So if you're holding on to a cognitive dissonance, which is like, I love this person, but I really hate this person also. I want this person, but I actually don't want this person because they create a lot of anxiety for me. Well, then this is going to be your reading, I have a feeling. Now, if you want to enter into a winning free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out, and it's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. Really important when people are wearing masks, because we're like, again, why the fuck are you wearing a mask? Like, I can feel that whatever you're showing me is not true. I can feel it. It's almost like I can feel it the way that you would feel somebody that walked into a store that was really acted really macho. And you would know because they wore like too much cologne, had their hair like again really slick back, wore really flashy clothes, a lot of jewelry. We can see, right? We can see again to draw that image, and that's someone that overcompensates. That's somebody, again, they're really loud when they're talking. They're like, hey, because they want to get the attention, right? Someone really macho. And that's a person a lot of times that, believe it or not, is insecure. So well, look at that person though, if we're not secure and be like, oh, they may be confident because look at all them. Well, that's what that person wants you to think. They want you to get caught up in the jewelry that they're wearing, the hair that's done, the nice clothes, the cologne, but they have a second chakra imbalance. So they're overdoing it because they're not coming from the true self. The true self is the higher self, and the higher self is the God part of self that makes things happen, because the God part of self is made up of unconditional love. You actually are made up of unconditional love because you have God inside of you, because God is the universe, and the universe's energy is, again, unconditional love. So we are incarnated into our families, and we learn certain spiritual lessons, and those spiritual lessons play out as karmic themes. And so you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. So you may be someone that overcompensates or undercompensates. Again, which I'm kind of feeling, if anything, you don't overcompensate, you undercompensate. You give less. All right. You give less because I feel like you've gotten hurt before. Or maybe you give less now because of this person. We'll see. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you can find in the description box, including the word of the video. If you forget it, the word of the video is always on the first part that I pull out. It's the underlining energy. As I said, okay. The word is pride. Pride. I feel like now they have a lot of pride. You know, you're in separation from someone that does have a big ego. They do have a big ego, and they were really stubborn when you were dealing with them. But understand, they are obsessed with you. That's for sure. But the problem is they're holding on to a cognitive dissonance. So you're not just holding on to a cognitive dissonance. They also are holding on to a cognitive dissonance. But understand, unconditional love is, again, the energy of the universe, is most profound energy. You can't manipulate it. You can't destroy it. It transcends time and space. Millions of years go by and you will again recognize your person, because again, they're made up of this unconditional love. They feel like home. So it's almost like the universe says, I'll wait if you guys are both going to hold on to your cognitive dissonances, because you don't want it, but you do want it. But I feel like there's a sense almost like the energy is like building up, like it's almost like a waiting game, where I feel like this person is stubborn and they're holding back from you, but it doesn't mean that they don't want to talk to you. They do, but they're afraid. Their pride, because they're afraid of your hostility, because they know that you're someone that doesn't mince your words. You're someone that's extremely direct. And this person likes to come across as if they're perfect, that they do everything perfect. And maybe that doesn't mean do everything perfect for you, but almost like that they're confident that their life is successful, that everyone desires them, that again, they overcompensate. Remember, so an average life isn't going to be good for them. They need to be seen as someone important. And I feel like you don't make them feel important. You don't, because you're like, you don't treat me well. So I don't care who you are. You can be someone that's very big in your community, have a great job, and all those outside things that make you perceive that you're important, but you are not important because you don't treat me well. And in not treating me well, you don't treat yourself well, because we have a very strong soul connection, and you do love me. I know that you love me, but what you show me is everything but that, deliberately. And so I find it disrespectful. That's the energy right now. And this person knows it. They know it. They're like I don't really know how to fix this. Let's see what they did. You know, it's like, let's see what they did. Yeah, acted more superior again. So you needed to chase me. You needed to give me your time. You needed to let me know how much that you cared about me. That's your person. When really you're like, no, 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 no. It's like, if you spend time with me, then you know how much I like you. But I'm not going to chase you and you give me breadcrumbs. That's not what's going to happen here. You do that with your lower hanging fruit. That's what you're used to. And like, that's why this person, again, I feel like got triggered by you and thought that you were a little toxic, because it's like, Why didn't, until they actually have been in separation from you and really thought about it. And the more that they thought about it, the more that they're seeing that it was kind of themselves that was toxic. Yeah, this person, they're too busy. They're too busy, like, again, rescuing other people, giving too much time and energy to other people. Meanwhile, I feel like you went through something and they weren't there for you. So here it is, this person wants to seen as important. And they are, again, everybody else's savior, rescuing other people, giving too much of their time, their energy, taking too much responsibility for other people instead of living their own life. Again, they want to be seen as important. They want to be seen as liked. They want to be seen as, but they don't really know how to go about doing that. If you really want to do that, then you run for Congress, or volunteer at your soup kitchen, or do something within your church. No, this person gives it to, like, every single other person, and if they could be an insignificant person. But again, those people are going to make them feel so good about themselves, so big about themselves. But meanwhile, you're going through whatever you're going through, and they're not going to help you at all. No, they want you to beg for it. That's why you need to ask them for it. And I feel like you were like, I'm not going to ask for it, for your help. And it has nothing to do with pride. It has to do with, like, you're asking me to ask you for what should come naturally. You should want to do that for me. So again, they create illusions, and they create illusions by giving too much time, helping everyone else, overcompensating within their behaviors. So again, they have feelings for you, but instead of showing you, they want you to prove to them first, and then they're going to figure it out. But then they're going to make it as if everyone else finds them desirable, like everybody else doesn't have a problem. Well, no one else is going to have a problem if you're fixing that person's car, or doing that person's laundry, or cooking that person's dinner, or watching their kids, or whatever that it is that you do to be everyone else's savior. So of course you create the illusion that you're a nice person, but you're not a nice person to me. Like, if anything, I feel like you're a narcissist, because you're trying to oppress me, keep me down. You're not just trying, and you're trying to suppress me. Yeah, again, being too dutiful to other people, but them expecting you to be dutiful to them while they run around and become this important person. Like, that's the energy, instead of them giving you any time. Again, relationships are something that happen over time. And when you give the person time, especially when they're going through hard times, it builds intimacy, it builds trust. And I feel like your person, though they had such strong feelings for you, they want everything their way. So you weren't doing everything their way. So it became all about that instead of the relationship. And again, giving too much to other people, neglecting their own needs and neglecting your needs. But in that, they don't realize they're neglecting their own needs, because they're acting like they don't need to have love. Like it's a power struggle. Yeah, dominate. Like I said, they wanted to dominate. They wanted to control. They wanted to control over your life, because I want you to act a certain way. I think that you should do certain things. And I feel like you have too much of your own identity. That's what it was at the time. And they felt like it was too big. It made them feel small, because remember, they're out there giving time and energy. When you give too much of your time and you act like a savior, you're really acting like a martyr, right? And so when we are in that energy, we could actually trick ourselves into thinking that we're a nice person. We could actually, like, our brain can lie and say, I'm a nice person. No, this is important. But really, what the person's doing is they're avoiding their own issues. They're avoiding their own needs. But then they're expecting you to make up for that, which is codependent because this person's not emotionally intelligent. That's why they're obsessed. It's like they can't strategize out of this. Look what I did. I played a lot of games. I gave a lot of energy to all these other people, and I didn't give anything to you. Bluff, and you called their bluff. That's what happened. Like calling your bluff was the most satisfying thing that I did. Like you thought that I was just going to take this shit while you sat there and gave everyone else time and you breadcrumbed me and you played games and you toyed with my emotions. You really like thought that I was going to sit around and tolerate this. Nope. You're like, no. You thought that I was going to be so like checked out of reality, right? Because of what you did. That's what you thought. But really, it's like you're just trying to be like someone that you're not. You try to act like you're so perfect. You're not. It's like I can see right through the illusions that you're showing me. And meanwhile, this person feels I left you before you left me. So if I come back to you, I don't really know whether or not, where it's like, no, you left them before they left you. But they're going to pretend because, again, they didn't really give you enough. So they're like, well, I'm in my pride. Remember, that's how this started. So if I actually have to come back and ask for forgiveness, well, then that shatters the illusion. So it's like, I need you to come back to me. I would like you to reach out to me. I would like you to show me that you miss me. I would like you. Meanwhile, you're like, I'm not going to do any of that. You thought I was going to sit there and tolerate what you did. You might have not given me anything, but you expected me to chase you. You expected me to want to have a conversation about what you did. I didn't have a conversation. This is you, Scorpio. I didn't have a conversation. It's like I said whatever I said, and then I left. And so, the truth of the matter is, you still wanted me. That's why you didn't close it out. It's like you want to pretend that you didn't. You were playing a game. You were trying to get me to become subservient to you. You wanted to dominate me. You wanted to seem like you were superior. Meanwhile, it's like I left you because I wasn't going to tolerate your game. I feel like this person, like I said, it really needs to see themselves a certain way in order for them to like live with themselves. So many things remind me of you though. So even though I left you before you left me in this distorted thinking that they have, it's like, but I still am thinking about you. Still, I see you everywhere. Still, I hope and pray that I run into you because so many things remind me of you. And that's because they have you in their heart, and so if you're someone that's into spirituality and they're not into spirituality, well, everything is psychic, everything is a third eye, everything is again to get your fortune done. So this person is almost like, and if your name is like Barbara or John, every person's name is Barbara or John. And the newscaster's name, back to you, John. It's like this person's like, I can't get away. I can't get away. And it's almost like when you buy a red car. It's not that everybody else bought a red car. That's what it seems like when you buy a red car or you buy a certain car, then you all of a sudden notice how many other people are driving on the street that have the same car. Well, that's because it's fresh in your mind. You're holding it in your mind. So the more that this person doesn't want to think about you, the more that they actually do think about you, and the more time that they waste, and the more pissed off that you get. And the more pissed off that you get, the more overstimulated this person becomes, and the more they overthink. And the more that they overthink, the more that they get in their own way, because that's what a psychological reversal is. A person gets in their own way. It's like, why would you do the exact opposite thing that you should do if you wanted that? It's like saying, getting a job that you're like, I'm so excited to get this job, and then you don't show up, or you go in completely wasted, you know what I mean, to the job. You know what I mean? Like, you sabotage it. And that's because on a deep root level, this person like has wounds. That's why you both do. That's why you're attracted to each other. But what we see right here is that there's a power struggle going on. I'm so attracted to you, though, and that's the problem, because again, Spirit says, well, I know what I'm doing. You know, this is a divine connection. We got two people here that like, yeah, they hate each other almost, but they love each other too. And it's like, and that's because they have a lot of childhood wounds. They have a lot of wounding where they feel that they need to control the situation, where Spirit says, I'm not going to let them control the situation. The universe says, no, we'll wait. Surrender. They have to surrender. They have to, again, open up their heart. Again, when there's trauma, we tend to not. And that's what we see here when we see all this behavior, that a person needs to elevate themselves. Now you say again, why am I attracting this person? You're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. They're making you feel a certain way. That's why. And it's making you look at certain things. But again, triggers are supposed to happen. It's so that we look. I hide who I really am from you. Of course, you know that. Again, with the too much cologne, too much perfume, too much, you're overdoing it. You're overcompensating for the lack that you feel. And you may be like, well, you got to prove to me, and so I'm going to give you very little because I don't trust you. And you went into the relationship that way. And now it was a good thing that you did, because this person can't be trusted, couldn't be trusted. But Spirit said it was the way that you did it. Like, you went in like, I'm going to give you a morsel. It's like, and then once you win me over, I'm going to give you a lot more, because I'm, again, it's like, and Spirit says, so that's out of balance, that you give a little bit and then you give too much. Because, well, you're like, well, then the person was nice, and then they proved it to me. And the Spirit says, no, it's like relationships need to be like, go with the flow. To say this is a second chakra issue. So it's not a little bit and then a lot. It's you know, you're in your own life. And when you're in your own life and you have a lot of different things that you do in your life, well, then this person gets time, but they don't get all of your time. It's again, and the time changes. Sometimes you'll see this person in the morning, sometimes you'll see him at night, sometimes you'll see him. Doesn't mean that you don't get into an argument, but you can deal with the argument because you have your own life, the passions for life. Feel like this person triggered you because part of you is like, I wanted them to be in my life. I wanted them to be there for me. It's like I needed them to prove to me that they care. And that's this person. This person is like, well, you needed to prove it to me. And so it's again the same thing. We can see the mirroring energy. However, you're like, yeah, but they still did everything that they did, where they ran around with people and they took it to the extreme. And Spirit says, yes, because you weren't reacting. So again, the more that you weren't reacting, the more anxiety that this person got. So the more that they did it. So again, they didn't really mean to burn down the entire house, just the shoes in the bathtub. Again, but they got crazy. It's again, and that's what happens when you try to control. You try to control and you're not going with the flow. Well, you sabotage yourself. You overcompensate. You let your emotions get the best of you. So this person's not emotionally intelligent, but again, they let their emotions get the best of them. I wish I could take back my words. I feel like they made it like, again, well, you're not that important to me. And I feel like you said something to them and you said something, you made them accountable and they didn't like it. Because again, you're supposed to be subservient. You're supposed to, again, think that I'm a king or queen and just be happy with what I give you. And you said something that triggered me. And I said something. My emotions got the best of me. Because again, I'm not balanced. And I'm not balanced because I have wounds. And I have wounds because of the trauma that I've gone through. And you're like, I don't care. Let's look at what you did. And that's what spirit says that you're like. Like, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry, I'm angry. And this person's like, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. I'm staying away. I'm going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in my life makes sense. Yeah, because they're holding so much back. And they really do have feelings, but they're not emotionally intelligent. They don't want to be vulnerable. It's like they feel almost like, now, you're part of the dark night of the soul, obviously, but I feel like this person's changing. And they're changing because they've lived from such a low vibrational consciousness that nothing in their life is really like filling them. You know what I mean? They've realized they become like a little bit of a rolling stone. I'm running around with all these people that are insignificant. Like, who the hell are these people that I'm hanging out with? I'm spending my time drinking and drugging or doing whatever I'm doing to escape the reality, wasting time, hoping that you're going to come back. But this way, I'm doing that, but I'm gonna perceive that I'm this important person, and I'm gonna be very dutiful and very helpful to everybody else because I need to be liked. But I don't like me, and that's really what's going on here. I want to know everything about you, but I hold myself back from asking. I'm afraid I'll get in too deep. Again, not emotionally intelligent, and here it is. You're making them feel. Oh my God, that's terrifying. That's terrifying for this person. They're overstimulated. They're overstimulated. You make them feel too much. It's like, I don't know, I don't know. And when they feel too much, then they overthink. And when they overthink, they get in their own way. And then that's when they do stupid shit. I see you're working to create change, and I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. Like, this person, like, is very business savvy. There's someone that is not emotionally intelligent. They're very good with money. They're very good with business. They're very logical, analytical mind. I feel like the trauma that when they endured trauma in childhood, they escaped into books, they escaped into studying. I feel like the energy that you endured in your childhood, you didn't escape that way. You escaped in your imagination. You escaped within the spiritual realm. You know, that's why it says be like childlike, because children imagine, and when you can imagine it, you can create it, right? Well, again, what do we see here? What do we see? We see a divine connection. We see a lot of feminine energy, again, the imagination, creativity, sensitivity, emotional intelligence, and what we see over here, analytical, business, logic. So again, the divine qualities. Now, this person definitely was not in their divine energy when you met them. But Spirit says, in all fairness, either was you. And we're going to see what you did during the time separation, but let's see what else. I'm just going to pull one more from this deck. Whatever you just cleared, help me to shift to. This is what I'm telling you. This person, like, when you hold on to that cognitive dissonance and it's like, no, it's like you're creating this block. Like, no, that's why a lot of times when you'll be like, as soon as I gave up on this person, the person came back, or like, I was over it. And that's because you no longer held, you surrendered. And you surrendered because you didn't care. What a lot of times happens, however, is you get so angry that you will either sabotage the connection when you get really triggered, or you'll you'll just not want to be bothered. Like you might not sabotage the connection, but you just don't want to be bothered. So I feel like that's really this. And look at what was flipped over. I miss you. Let's stop running away. Now, it's like you're like, that's all fine and well, but you did what you did. And so it keeps going back to that, meaning like I just can't bypass that. And so we have to see what's going to happen. You have to see what's going to happen. What is this person going to be like? Do something? Are they going to fix it? Are they going to try and fix it? Are you going to allow them to fix it? Well, they are. Love and romance. They're going to try and again give you affection because they are infatuated. Again, there's attached. There's a yearning to be with you. It's like even though they did what they did, I feel like the person needed to do all that shit in order to like really see what, what? Oh my God, no, you gotta be kidding me. It's against soulmate, lovers, union. Oh my God, and courtship dating. So that's their plan. That's what they want. They don't know whether you're gonna accept it. They know that they don't deserve it. But if it's a divine connection, you'll be like, I'll let you do it. It doesn't mean that you won't be pissed off. It doesn't mean that you're not mad. It doesn't mean, but it's like, am I going to cut my nose off to spite my face? It's like, you know, you're like, like this is like this person, like they may be acting like they don't care. You may be acting like you don't care, but it's just an optical illusion, Spirit says, because you can't destroy love. You can't. It's a divine connection. It says it right here. That's why it said Jesus to Jesus. Look at this, like two of a kind. What we're talking about. We're talking about like soulmates. We're talking about the union. What kind of union? Well, I'm feeling twin flame because this person wants to give you romance. They're also, if they're stepping into a higher vibration, they're willing to come back as a divine masculine because God knows that they certainly were not a divine. They were like bottom of the barrel. Like they were horrible. And so, and that's why you're like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. That's all that I keep hearing. Like, because you did what you did. You did what you did. And if anything, there's a part of you that actually, like, again, this feels resentful. Feel resentful because you're like, you were trying to like create like an attachment. And how I really see it is like you tried to betray me. You betrayed me. You betrayed me. So we have to see, we see what this person is going to do, but we have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? What, because it's like, what am I supposed to do with this energy? It's like, I get it. They did what they did and now they have a different change of heart, but why did I have to experience that? It's and how am I supposed to unsee what you just showed me? What was the whole point? This is why you're holding on to that cognitive dissonance. And this is why this person is like that too. It's like you're like kind of in a Mexican standstill. You both of you are like, no, but neither one of you is shooting. And so abandonment, card number one. Shame, number two. Space, number three. Like that one at least. Frustration. Magic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Isolation. Well, You experienced it because I feel like you never had support. I said that I feel like you went through something and you needed this person to be there for you. And even if you didn't go through something, you wanted this person to be there for you. It's again to show you, and what they made you feel was abandonment. But the truth is that you have a shame wound, and so does this person, meaning that you were made to feel as if you were bad, not good enough, not worthy, defective, because all those are derived from shame. And so when you grow up that way, obviously you're not feeling supported, you're feeling abandoned, you're feeling not loved. And that's exactly what this person made you feel. They, again, like you were isolated, like they isolated you. You're going to give to everybody else, but you're not going to give to me. And obviously created a lot of frustration, just like when you were a child. You're never there for me. You're never there for me. It's like, whatever I ask, it's always, I got to figure it out by myself. The same exact energy, you see, created from the same wound, like goes to like. That's an old wound, that spirit says, oh, that's an old wound. And that's gonna need to be transmuted. It's like, because it's like it's creating a lot of damage. That's why I bring in a soulmate twin flame union. Oh, neither one of you guys would want to volunteer to do this shit. It's like you're going to go back to that inner child wound where you felt abandoned, defective, not good enough, not worthy, like you were bad. No one's going to volunteer to do that. So I got to be sneaky, the universe says. So I'm going to bring this person in, and they're going to have all the divine energies that you actually need to integrate. You actually need to integrate because you're wounded, because again, you weren't book smart. Where you escaped in your mind, your imagination, you're creative, you're intuitive, you're spiritual, you want a mind. It's again, that's not of the physical world, but you're in physical form. So you got to integrate that energy, masculine energy. And doesn't mean that this is a man. We're talking about just energies here. That again, that masculine energy is something that you actually need to incorporate into your life. Where this person, again, they're not emotionally intelligent. They get in their own way. Oh, feelings. Oh, I can't feel this. I'm gonna die. It's again, they're not spiritual. They look at them, look what they were doing. They were in very low energy. Think they were letting the ego run the show. And that's why they're also going through a dark night of the soul, because hey, nothing in my life is worth shit. It's like, I hate my life. I sabotaged the connection. I sabotaged my life. Why? Because you don't believe you're deserving of love, because that's what shame does. Shame makes us feel we're not deserving of love because we were abandoned. We were abandoned. Again, and that's very frustrating and creates a lot of triggers, because you look around at everybody else and you say, well, everybody else has parents that show up. Everybody else has someone in their life. And no, but I'm always going to be alone. Like, you always put me in isolation. And then Spirit says, yes, but you have gifts. I gave you gifts. And you're like, what gifts did you give me? I gave you magic. Because if you can imagine it, you can create it. And I gave you again, space. Be like childlike. Again, look at all this empty space to create, to co-create, to become yourself, to ground yourself, to find yourself. Because there's no such thing as abandonment, that the universe says, because I live inside of you as a gift of the Holy Spirit. And so unless you leave yourself and you abandon yourself to give love to somebody that's not giving you your love, then you abandon yourself. But what I taught you was when you called this person's bluff and you put the energy back into yourself, well, that's when you found your magic. And that's when you were able to, again, create, become. Again, you have an empty canvas. It's like, are you going to replay and relive the karmic wound? Because here, it's again, soulmate twin flame. You could have easily wound up in a karmic mate relationship where the person was in a low vibration, and if you would have given to them, and the relationship would have never manifested into anything. You would have wasted your time and you would have stayed in a place of shame. You did not do that, Spirit says. What you did was you took the energy and you poured it into yourself, because again, you were abandoned. So because you were abandoned, you've been waiting around here the whole time, waiting for someone else to come in and give you something. Well, guess what? No one's coming. It's because I'm going to it's all about me and you, the universe says. You got to show up. You have to do it for you, because I'm inside of you. So you're never alone. It's that you perceive that you're alone because, again, that person that you wanted to be there wasn't there. And Spirit says, that's not unconditional love. That's expectation, that's ownership, that's, again, a lot of how you want it to be, which is exactly what this person's doing. It needs to be this way. And so you're like, yeah, but this person did all those things. And Spirit says, yes, because they, again, that was their default. That was their default mechanism. It's like when they got mad, they escaped because they're not emotionally intelligent. So I'm going to put you in a position. Are you going to forgive? So we'll see, sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no, but let's see. Let's see in this story anyway, but if it's a real twin flame, Spirit says you might say no, and if you say no, you'll regret it because they're like you won't stay angry. Angry is not a permanent emotion. We can make it a permanent emotion if we keep talking about it, though. And if we keep talking about it and ruminating in it, then we're going to stay in a place of lack and limitation, the universe says. So it actually does a lot more damage. But being that you're living your life in this story and it became yourself and found your magic, well, Spirit's saying you're not going to stay angry. You're going to, because you're going to be able to see yourself differently. And when you see yourself differently, you're like, well, I showed up for me. That you didn't do anything. So you're going to be more compassionate, Spirit says. But we're going to pull the cards anyway. Being apart from you has changed my life. It's like, so I feel like there's a part of you that feels that, and there's a part of being apart from you for this person has put this person in a very dark place. So there's a sense of it both changed your life, you for the better, this person for the worst, which had to happen because Spirit said, well, this person would have never surrendered their ego. Never would have happened if he would have stayed. I don't know if I can live up to your image of me. I'm afraid that I won't be good enough for you. So it's, again, this person gave that superiority, remember, and they wanted to seem as if they were important. And now they're like, shit, I showed you such a good part of me. Maybe they showed you that they were an owner. Maybe they showed you that they had all this money. Maybe they showed you whatever the hell that they showed you. It's like it's not 100%. And so now they're like, you might not like me. And that's shame. You see, when a person feels shame and they try to be perfect, remember that came up a lot, came up twice. Perfect. Well, this person actually feels inadequate. And that's why, again, here it is. They're saying like, I overcompensate. I overcompensate. And that's really what it is. And now this person says, I feel safe confiding in you. I trust you completely. I can share all my secrets with you. And that's because you were true. Because you were like, I'm not putting up with your shit. It's like, I don't care how much I love you. I don't care how much of a connection that we have. I don't care. Whatever the hell that you're showing me, I am not tolerating. And I'm going to tell you exactly. So the same mean energy that this person perceived in the beginning, because again, you don't mince your words, you're very direct. Well, now they're like, I can trust you, like, because you're not like the others that come in and say that it's okay that I do whatever I do and then try to make me into something that I'm not. You actually didn't tolerate it, and now I respect you. So it's like, that's really what it is. So, like I said, it's like there's a part of you that I think that is going to be divine, meaning like there's a part of you that's like, that's going to say, well, my life is so good because I created I did some stuff when we were separated, and that healed me. And this person actually helped you do it because they weren't there for you. And it's the energy that you actually needed to have for this relationship to actually work, because this person's very business. Again, they want to work on a mission with you. They want to create something with you. And listen, they surrendered their ego. They're going to come back and be humble. They're going to be like humble pie. No more pride. And trust me, and if I know how angry you are, you're going to say, and I'm going to make them for a long time. That's like, and if they do it, well, then great. And if they don't, well, then I don't care because I've already created my life. And so it'll be on them. And that is what Spirit says, yes. And that's the energy you need it to be in, because this person has to rise to your level. Balance. I find balance between each sphere of my life. I am the master of my daily life. I make time to nourish the spiritual and the physical. I bring love to my world by fulfilling the needs of my body and soul, where Spirit says, and the key to the twin flame relationship is balance. That's what we learn. We learn balance. We don't think that we're flawed anywhere. The pieces that are fragmented, we say, oh, they don't work. Spirit says, no, there's nothing that doesn't work. If you put on your pants like a shirt, it's going to look wrong. It's again, like there's many different realities. Do something different. Balance means, again, that you have time for your friends, time for your work, time for your spiritual health, time for your physical health, time for whatever other hobbies and interests. And then, yes, time for this person, but they're not getting everything. They're only getting a piece because, again, they have to step into their true self, and that's not going to be with you being right there, being codependent. That would be, again, a karmic relationship. This is not a karmic relationship. This is a twin flame relationship. This person has to rise to, again, the energy that you are. That, again, yes, they're going for someone that's better than them, what they perceive as better than them, because that's always what you're taught. You're taught to always go for someone that, again, is going to be what you perceive as a little bit better than you. And that means character-wise. We're not talking money-wise. We're talking character, because character is the spiritual energy. It's the psychological and the emotional energy, like how you treat people, how you treat yourself. You don't have a problem in that area. So again, you had problems in creating yourself in the physical realm, creating money. And again, but you're doing it, and that's what this person helped you do. So again, Spirit says you continue to do that because the twin flame connection teaches balance through the integration process, especially when creating something together. Because you have to learn compassion, you have to learn forgiveness, you have to learn, well, you're actually learning forgiveness right now. Not saying that you want to forgive, but it's, again, you're getting the opportunity to, again, practice forgiveness, practice compassion, and then, like working together. If you grew up where you were a loner and you were abandoned and your heart's closed, well, it's not the easiest thing to do. And Spirit says, I know that. That's why I bring this person into your life. So understand, you can hold on to your cognitive dissonance all you want, but it doesn't freaking matter, because I always win. The universe says I always win because I'm God. So of course I always win. I'm great. I'm going to leave it there for you, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.